Last December, over the protests of much of the nation, President Trump signed a tax reform bill called the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, passed by the United States Congress. So how'd they pass it with so little support?
In 1974, Congress passed the Congressional Budget Act. It set up several budgetary processes, but what matters in regard to the tax reform bill is something called budget reconciliation. It's an expedited procedure that can only be used once a year and only for legislation related to the budget, though that restriction has become looser and looser over time. Budget reconciliation allows the Senate to skip a massive obstacle to passing a bill. It was originally intended for minor budgetary adjustments, but in recent years has been co-opted as a vehicle for major legislation.
Budget resolution. First, the House must write and both houses of Congress pass a set of rules called reconciliation instructions. These create guidelines for what the final reconciliation bill can include and how much money can be involved.
Second, the actual budget bill is written in and passed by the House, just like any other bill.
Step 3, the Senate. This is where the expedited procedure really comes into play. On a normal bill, any senator can filibuster or threaten to filibuster the bill, which postpones a vote on the bill until the senator gives up or other senators give in and agree to make the changes the senator wants to the bill. The filibuster can essentially kill a bill. There is one way to end a filibuster, a vote for cloture, which effectively prevents the filibustering senator from speaking. Under regular procedure, it takes a supermajority, 60 yeas, to invoke cloture. But on a reconciliation bill, only a simple majority, 51 yeas, are needed. This gives the majority party the ability to push a reconciliation bill through the Senate without the support of the minority party.
Step 4, conference. Chosen members of each chamber meet to settle the differences between the two different versions of the bill. Each chamber then has to pass that final version of the bill.
Step 5, the President. The President, just like with any other bill, has to sign the bill into law.
This budgetary process gives the majority party the ability to ignore the other party and to ignore proper congressional procedure. They do not need to reach across the aisle and try to write a bipartisan bill because they don't need the votes of the other party's senators. The result is a highly partisan bill that lacks support not only in nearly half of Congress, but also among the electorate. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was also haphazardly written, with an absurd amount of edits and updates coming to senators' desks in the days and even hours leading up to the final vote in the Senate. Some of these edits were handwritten and illegible. Some were cut off by copy machines, and all were edits to a bill that was hundreds of pages long, neglecting to give senators and their aides sufficient time to read the full final bill.
Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, one of the most moderate Democrats in the Senate, felt that the Republican Party did not really listen to his thoughts. I talked to all of the people in charge of writing this legislation from the White House. I gave them suggestions and ideas. It is not designed to have one Democrat on the bill.